Welcome back to another exciting episode of DFN Mailbag. This time I'll try to answer more than just one question. Blake writes in, what are your thoughts on the Panasonic GH4? On paper, the GH4 appears to be a pretty freaking sweet little camera. Clean 422 8-bit HDMI output, focus peaking, flip out screen, up to 200 megabits per second data rate, 96 frames per second, super slow-mo, and the ability to record in multiple formats, including MOV, MP4, and AVC HD, giving you all kinds of editing options. On the downside, it's micro four thirds, so you're gonna have a little bit of trouble with low light performance. People have been saying that it's good up to 3200 ISO, which is pretty darn good for a micro four thirds camera, but compared to the Canon 5D Mark III or some of the other cameras on the market, that isn't quite as high performance in ISO as you get out of those cameras. So keep that in mind if you wanna shoot in the dark. Other than that, it appears to be a dream camera. I've got mine on pre-order right now. The $1,600 price range is pretty darn sweet compared to everything else on the market, and that's awesome for a 4K camera that actually captures its own 4K, as opposed to, having an extra deck or some crap like that attached to your camera, making it two camera parts instead of just one. See the Canon C500. It appears that Panasonic is at least listening to their customers. Harris Studio writes in, I'm upgrading from a 550D. Which camera would you choose? The 5D Mark III, Blackmagic Cinema camera, or the Panasonic Lumix GH4? I'm gonna scratch the last one off the list right away. The GH4 is an unknown. It hasn't come out yet. People have tested it, but only a few, and you only get a few leaked results. So you don't really know what you're getting with the camera yet. And that's kind of a big leap, especially if you have to invest in new lenses and all kinds of other stuff to go along with the camera. If you already are in the Canon swimming pool, you might want to stay in the swimming pool for a while longer until you find out more about the GH4. As for the Blackmagic camera, it's kind of this weird boxy square thing that you're probably gonna have to put a rig on in order to hold it properly. And the whole SD recording system is not my thing. Especially if you're trying to shoot RAW, that thing is going to be a bit of a headache. Data rates are crazy, battery life, you name it. And of course, there's the hassle of storing all that raw footage. And sure, I know you can record in ProRes, but you don't actually buy the Blackmagic camera to record in ProRes, because if you want ProRes, there's tons of other cameras that will give you that option. And why the hell didn't they put XLR inputs on that damn thing? Seriously, Blackmagic, what were you thinking? As for the Canon 5D Mark III, it's a great camera. I love shooting on it. If you plan to shoot RAW, it's even more of a pain in the butt than Blackmagic cameras. So keep that in mind if that's your end goal. It's nice and solid, it has clean HDMI out, but that HDMI out doesn't include audio. Canon's done some weird stuff with the 5D Mark III, making it a little bit of a pain to use sometimes. And the most painful bit about the 5D Mark III is that it's almost $3,000. If you really want to shoot RAW, you might consider looking at the Canon 7D. It's like $800 used, and you can shoot RAW on it with Magic Lantern. Plus, it uses all the Canon glass that you've probably already collected, so you don't have to worry about changing stuff out. And it's a good stopgap until some of the other newer cameras come out after NAB. Also, if you want a serious difference in performance, but you don't want to spend a ton of money, you might want to take a look at a 5D Mark II. Those used are in the $1,200 to $1,300 range. They shoot RAW as well, and they have better low light performance and better image quality than you get out of your T2i or 550D, whatever you want to call it. And if you can hold out with the 550D for just a little bit longer, there's going to be a ton of announcements at NAB, which will probably drop the price of a bunch of these cameras down even further, meaning you can buy them after NAB and get them even cheaper and use that extra saving for lenses. Eric writes in, do you think the EOS-M needs an external preamp, or is the internal preamp decent? Definitely a preamp. Just like the rest of Canon's cameras, the EOS-M suffers from bad internal preamps. You're going to turn that down as low as possible and use an external input in order to get good, clean audio. In this case, I have the Beachtech DXA SLR attached to the bottom of this, but you can use the JuiceLink or any of the other XLR adapters that are out there on the market. No matter which one you choose, they're all going to improve the audio quality of the EOS-M over its internal preamps. So definitely get a preamp. Remember, I can't do DFN Mailbag without you, so be sure to leave your questions and comments in the section below, and hit us up at Twitter at DSLR Film Noob. Anyway, that's it for DFN Mailbag, and I'll see you next time. We've got a lot going on at DSLR Film Noob, so be sure to check out the second channel as well as the main channel for new stuff all the freaking time. I'm updating stuff on a regular basis and getting more content out for you. Pictures, words, videos, train.